there's never going to be a perfect time to start something. And
No.
so some people can get stuck in planning mode and never get out. Next thing you know, it's 10 years later and you've been like working on your plan, when in hindsight, had they started and then figured some things out along the way,
Absolutely.
I think there's value in that.
Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited to be doing my first in-person interview today. And today I am so lucky to be in Nashville interviewing the one and only Lucy Miller, who is in charge and the CEO and founder and does all of the things for Women Connect Live. And I'm so excited to be with you today, Lucy. Welcome.
I'm so excited. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you. I do love Nashville.
So great. I grew up here, so I'm totally biased, but
Really?
it's a great place to live.
It's so funny. I've been to Nashville 3 times already this year, and I'll be here again next month. So maybe I just need to come work here part-time.
Absolutely. You need to make sure you let me know when you're
My God, yes. So excited to be here with you for the event. And I wanted to ask you to start out, just tell the listeners a little bit about your story, how you even built this huge women's event that you put together that, you know, holds 300 women every time you hold an in-person event. Tell us about how you got into this.
Yeah, it's a wild story. At least to me it is. But, you know, if we can reverse back to 2019.
Okay.
So back before things were way different then, I was looking for a place to network with other businesswomen.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, there was not a lot for women in Franklin, Tennessee, here where I live.
Yeah.
You know, there's chambers, there's BNI, there's other groups like that. But what I was finding when I was visiting those groups was it just wasn't quite the right fit for me. Good, bad, whatever. It just was not exactly what I was looking for. Fast forward to a Facebook post where I saw a woman looking for a place that where the professional women in the area network, and like no one had the answer. So I randomly on a car ride decided I was going to host a little casual gathering to bring businesswomen together. And this was in December of 2019. So in January of 2020, I held our first little happy hour. It was at a hotel bar up the road, and we had like 8 women that showed.
Wow.
And I knew 2 of them because I dragged them there with me just in case no one else showed. But luckily others did. And, you know, what we found is that women were craving authentic connection opportunities.
Yeah.
We sat around a table and talked about what your business does, what mine does, like what I'm struggling with, what are like the systems you use, what can I be doing better? You know, how can we partner together even?
Right.
And it was just so fulfilling. And so for a few months after that, I had a few other events. And then we took a COVID break for a while in 2020. But we got back together in the fall of that year and quickly, again, felt that need from the women in our community that they were craving these opportunities. And so started branching out with other chapters. So I started a chapter in Brentwood and then in Nashville, and then just very organically grew to 10 chapters in the greater Nashville area, with each of those chapters having 2 events every single month. So I'm talking coffees, lunches, happy hours, simple people-focused events where women are just talking around a table. Fast forward now, and there's a lot of fast forwarding in there, but with what we do month in and month out, we're in 4 states now. So we have 13 chapters across Tennessee, 2 in Kentucky, 2 in Alabama, and just launched Atlanta this year. Yeah. So those chapters are there. I love to call them connection creators. I have a chapter leader for each that host these events, just bringing women together, business owners, women in professional positions, women that just want to meet other awesome women and have more of that community in their life.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we do month in, month out. But back in 2021, a friend of mine who actually speaks at lots of events had heard me say, you know, that I felt like a conference type event where women could come and learn and get the skills they're really needing would be something neat to do at some point. And to me, that was years down the road.
Yeah.
And she just basically said, Lucy, you can do this. You can do it now. You've got the people, you've got the momentum. And this was in 2021.
Wow.
Like we were still getting going.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was no money. There was no business. It was just me gathering. It was just me gathering people. And so decided, sitting right there with her that moment to host a conference in October of 2021.
Same year.
Like
Wow.
6 months away. I think that was in like February or March. And so started planning, and that's when it all changed.
That's amazing. And, you know, isn't it interesting that sometimes just one thing that someone says can change your whole life?
Absolutely.
One
she saw
person.
that in me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah. She was a mirror to a great part of yourself that you didn't yet know was something other people saw too.
Yeah.
That is so incredible. And the bravery it takes to not just, you know, have an idea. We all have so many ideas, and sometimes it's very difficult to have clarity on which idea you should run towards.
Absolutely.
Right?
Ideas every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was like, wow, that moment. I mean, this is now 2025 and you're still like, that was the moment. I was like, yep, I have to do it. And that takes so much courage, because putting any event on is a lot of work, let alone one that you've never, like, this is all new. You have no funding yet for it. You just have a desire. There's a need. Like,
I had one speaker.
Yeah.
She was going to be one of my speakers. So it was
Really?
like I had a jump start on who was going to be the speakers.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there was so much to figure out.
So much. Wow. So what do you think gave you the courage to do that? Like, how did you know that that was something that you needed to do?
You know, it's interesting. It's mostly in retrospect, I can see that the bravery really came from, I'm a faithful person, and just my hope and prayers that was the right thing for me to do.
Yeah.
I trust in my ability to work hard and see things through.
Yeah.
So I have that, but then I'm also a quick decision maker. And so when you pair those two together, I decided to act on it. I booked a space and we were just off and running. But the bravery was there, but I mean, there was fear there too. I mean, it's nerves for 6 months on, are people going to buy their tickets and show up? Will the details come together?
Yeah.
You know, is the money I put down as a deposit out of my own pocket, you know, going to pay off and be paid back, if that makes sense. So it definitely, and every single year that fear is always still there. You know, it doesn't quite go away, even though you've got experience.
Yeah, because, you know, I've been a business owner for almost 7 years now. And I would say that the fear comes right back, like with every new milestone. Yeah. And you've done things before, so you know you can do it again, but it's not like the fear just goes away. It's like always sitting there beside you, right?
Yeah. Hello, it's me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know. And so now, like, our 5th annual Women Connect Live is tomorrow. And, you know, the difference of where we are of caliber and size and details and planning it's vastly different. But in a way, it still feels the same. You know, it's exciting, it's thrilling, but it's scary still. I mean, it's a lot on the line, not only financially, but, you know, reputationally too. I mean, we were just talking about it. It's so important to me that the women that walk in that room leave feeling impacted and, you know, having had fun and enjoyed a great day, but learned a lot and make great connections. So that's a big responsibility in my eyes.
Right.
And I love it, but it's a big responsibility.
It is. But I've always believed that, well, 2 things. One, if your heart is in the right place, then you're going to make an impact. And there might just be one person that really needed something that you provided. Yeah. And even that is doing a service to the world, you
Absolutely.
know? And that true connection is the absolute best way to build a business, because when you're authentically connecting someone with no ulterior motives, and the other person can feel that, it's almost like you connect on a different level. And there's an immediate desire to support each other. Would you say that?
Absolutely.
You agree with that?
Yeah. I think that's kind of at the heart of what I love that we do with Women Connect is the authentic connection opportunities, because, you know, I have a podcast called Beyond the Handshake. It's taking that relationship just beyond that surface level, you know, just, and there's going to be people that you don't click with and you don't have that genuine connection to move forward with. But when you give women the space to have that opportunity to do that, I think that's where the magic happens.
That's
great. It really does.
What do you do for these events to keep yourself like motivated and keep your energy up and all of the things you need to do to make sure that you can be your full best self when you're there at the event?
I don't have an energy problem.
Okay, good.
I know we were just talking about it that I don't drink coffee. I don't know. I'm very energetic. I've got a lot of energy, but I do make time for myself. Not perfectly. Like I'm still, up early, up late, doing things I need to do, but I go to the gym every day. That's definitely some great me time. And that's that cycle of I work out so I have more energy, so I keep doing it. I do feel like that fuels me. But motivation wise, it is so rewarding. Like the way I will feel on stage tomorrow, looking at the crowd and knowing that everybody is there for this opportunity to learn, and that I'm going to be learning right next to them.
Yeah.
The way I will feel in the room, that's a lot of motivation.
That's incredible. Yeah. I'm sure there are many times you just like tear up with how proud you are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, again, I'd say it all the time. It's just really rewarding, but it's just such a cool opportunity to have so many amazing women in my life. And there's so many I can't wait to meet, that I haven't met yet that are coming to this conference tomorrow.
Yes.
So I'm thrilled about it.
Yes. You and I met at another women's event, and the person doing our podcast right now is someone we also met at an event. And I would say that if you are a woman who has not prioritized like women's events and networking, not really for networking, literally for building relationships, you can find your village.
Absolutely.
And sometimes there are women who need a village outside of the family that they have near them. And I think that as women, we forget to ask for help a lot, and that maybe we feel like we should do it all, and that it's a weakness to need help or to need advice. And for me, all of that is wrong. I say that seeking advice, having relationships, getting your own village, getting support is like a true area that shows your own personal growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have an incredible village.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so many awesome women that I could call and get their advice right this second. I wouldn't have enough time to be able to call them all. That makes sense. And I feel like they are all individually amazing connectors. Right. And I like to say that I am too, but they are that as well. And that's when you can step out and put yourself in different rooms too.
Yeah.
That's when you meet even more people that could be that for you, or step into your life in a different way that you didn't know that you would need. When I think back to, Brielle Cotterman, that's how we were connected. I made the trip to Kentucky and met you there, and probably like 12 or 15 other amazing women that now are in my world.
Yeah.
And just that act of taking the step to going to something different and new in a different state or a different place, outside a comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's where the magic happens.
Always. And you never know who you're going to meet that you're going to need in your life for the rest of your life. You never know when you're going to meet your next best friend or your business partner or someone who just really inspires you. And I know that you also went through something when you were younger. And I think it's actually incredibly inspiring when women talk about things they've been through, because for a long time we didn't. So we felt very alone. So I'd love to hear your story of what you went through when you were younger.
Yeah. Well, I kind of joke, it's nothing super traumatic, if you will. But when I was 16, I was in high school. I was an athlete. I was running cross country and track and swimming, all very competitively. Yeah. And I started having so much pain in my feet. And then it quickly moved to my hands, and I had 4 fingers that were, quadruple or more the size of what they should have been. Couldn't bend them. It was terrible. And so after a few doctor's visits, we were able to get into a rheumatologist here in Nashville. And I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which at age 16 is, not super normal. Yeah. And it showed up in my joints and my feet and my hands. And so for an athletic person, an active person, that is hard.
Yeah, that's devastating.
It's devastating. Yeah. Even taking notes in school was really hard. And so, hindsight, when I look back at that, the bravery to get through that and to continue on. And so I found a really awesome medicine. It was like a miracle drug for me.
Wow.
And my mom says within 1 dose, I was almost a totally new girl. It's amazing. I went on to take that for 15 years. But I was able to still compete in my sports by doing some alternative training. So for cross country season, I would run one day on the ground, and then the next day I would water run. So it was a different, basically running in place in the water, like in a swimming pool. And you just would do the motion just like you're running. And it's a pretty good workout.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, I went my best time that season.
No way.
Isn't that crazy?
My God. Yeah.
So that is, I mean, when I think back about that, how cool that was. But,
Yeah.
Continuing on though, it didn't just go away after I was a teenager. That's something I've now lived with my whole life, but you would not know. The medicine I take is amazing.
Yeah.
I take good care of myself. And that, that's something that I have to, work through.
Before you got diagnosed, I mean, I don't know if you can remember, but like being that active and then all of a sudden, that's kind of your identity,
Yeah.
I'm assuming at that age, and being told like maybe you won't be able to do the things you normally do. Like, how did you feel?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, it was hard. It was, I think probably what I was feeling most of the time was just the pain. It was, I mean, I remember I would be crying in the middle of the night because my fingers would get caught on the sheets in the middle of the night and it would wake me up. And it was just so tender. And so, yeah, it was hard. But then once we got the medicine, working, it was just trying to figure out how we could keep my joints from having too much trauma with the training. So
looking back now, what do you think that prepared you for?
Doing hard things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life. I mean, honestly, another thing about bravery is that it's an everyday decision too.
Yes.
And, the hard things in life, whether it's, pushing through a workout that's hard or, making hard decisions or staying up late when needed or having those hard conversations or making big decisions.
Yeah.
That's the hard stuff. And so I think, as a teenager, totally different situation, but, I can do hard things. I know I can do hard things.
Right.
You can too.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You can too. You said having hard conversations. To me, that is one that is very difficult. Like that is one, in my opinion, that takes a lot of courage because if I actually care about someone, then I am going to make the effort to have a hard conversation. And sometimes it's terrifying. Sometimes, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to be able to bring something up or something that you care or someone that you care about. So for you, like, if you have a hard conversation, what is something that you tell yourself?
I don't like them. It's a great thing. A great thing to think about. I think especially if it's somebody I care about, I need to think about how I want to present what I want to say to that person in a caring way. And I want them to feel that I care about them. I'm not wanting them to feel that I'm, saying this out of hurt or, malice. So really just thinking through carefully the words and, making sure, what is it, the sandwich analogy?
I know, right? Sandwich, rainbow, there's like all these different,
I think just coming from a place of care and love.
Yes. If you come from love, I think that the person can tell, and something that I have learned along the way is that we can't control other people's reactions or emotions because that is for them. They're allowed to have whatever reactions they want to have.
That.
I know. But, being truly loving to the other person, even in saying hard things or even in critiques or even in arguments with someone that you love is loving. Because it's loving when you're clear.
Absolutely.
I think it is. And when someone can take that, then you feel safe too. It almost builds a deeper connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think has been the best part of starting to run these Women Connect Live events for you?
The relationships I've built. I say it all the time, but I just have more amazing women in my life personally, but also in my greater sphere than I just ever thought possible. And when I think back to just hosting that first casual event, this is not what I had in mind. Like it was going to be just, we're going to gather casually and this is going to be great for me professionally. And then it really turned into, I am now doing this for all the women, the connections at our events. So it's gone beyond, just the connections I can make. So the relationships, absolutely.
And Lucy, what was your background before this?
Well, I'm in real estate. So I also do that, but really my passion and the heart of where I spend, most of my time, work efforts is women. But real estate agent, a major in college was marketing.
Was it? Oh, well, that worked out.
But I mean, marketing is so different now than,
Yes.
than it was then.
Yeah.
And, I'm a mom. I am involved in the community. And so I've always valued relationships.
Yeah.
And so I can see how that's all, playing into what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Do you feel that it's difficult to say that, you have something that you have to do to build this event and one of your kids gets sick, or like you have to miss one of their sporting events? Like, how do you deal with the mom guilt of that?
I don't struggle with that a lot. I feel like I'm at a lot. I'm
Yes.
I'm at a lot of their, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to miss a lot of their events or anything for them, to be honest, very much at all. However, I will say I have an amazing support system. So my husband is incredible. Yeah. We are going different directions in many days with kid here, kid there, in different sports. They both play competitive baseball and softball. And so we were at 2 different ball fields last night, for example. But my parents live here locally, and my father-in-law does, and they are willing to jump in and able to jump in all the time.
That's amazing.
Great friends. And, my good friend, Jamie Rose Plum, I could text her and say, I need you to pick my son up in an hour because I can't, can you do it? And she would make it happen, And so having that good support system and village, of great friends and family, for sure. So I don't really struggle with that mom guilt a lot because I'm at everything.
Right.
And there are times I've had to miss a few things, but there was like 10 other events I was at that.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
It's okay.
My older son did competitive baseball, and we were, we lived there all weekend. And my younger son's doing baseball now too. And I'm flying home early Saturday morning, at 5 a.m. so that I don't miss his game. Yeah, exactly. And that's just kind of what we do.
But they see what you're doing.
Yep.
And they're inspired by that. Yeah. And my daughter is 10. And she sees what I'm doing with Women Connect. She'll be like, "Are you going to Women Connect today?" She just will call it that. And like, yes, or I'm doing this instead. And she has been asking me for probably 2 years to be able to come to my live conference. And so she's been begging me. And so we did just decide this week, we're going to get her out of school early. I was public knowledge. We're getting my daughter out of school early on Friday, and she's going to make an appearance, and she's going to, I told her I'm going to be busy. You can't need me, but she's going to be there and get to see it. And, there's snacks there. So that was a question.
Yes.
I got.
Oh, I get it. I need to know the food situation.
There are snacks, but she's going to be there. And so she's going to get to see what I do and the impact we make. And that makes me really proud. So
how often do you tell yourself how proud you are of yourself?
I don't do it enough. But I have been working with a business coach this last 6 months, and that's a lot of what we've been working on is the affirmations of, I was made for this. I'm planning for this. I'm doing a great job. That pride in a healthy way factor that I'll feel, with what I do, how I make the impact.
And you even have a great support system. You have been a competitive person your whole life, and you still need coaching and, identity work to make sure that you're actually becoming the person inside and out that you want to be, and that you're celebrating yourself. Because how many times have we gone through things just like you went through something at 16 and you just really put grit in there, you pushed through that, moved on to the next thing and the next thing. How many times do we not celebrate the things
all
that
the time? Yeah. And that's actually been a big part of what we've worked on is that it's so, I've kind of joked, it kind of feels like sometimes after this conference, I kind of fall off a cliff of it all of a sudden is so much less on my plate to do. And then the feelings afterward is weird. And it's so weird. I don't know how to explain it. I'm working to avoid that. And, it's, being proud and just in a healthy way, not boastful proud, but it is a big effort. I've done a great job. This is a great thing we're doing. The women are impacted in major ways, and reminding yourself that. And so the affirmations you can give yourself daily are so important. How often do you tell yourself that?
Yeah, that's another, I hadn't for years, and for me, I think it's because I think that success long-term is really difficult. And not always, but I think that a lot of times you could find success in 1 month and be like, this was a successful month. Well, what about long-term? So for me, I said, well, Erin, you didn't do this for 10 years yet, or you haven't done this for this. So I'm always trying to remind myself that it's the little steps and the consistency that I have done to build the 2 businesses that I've built. That in itself, I should celebrate,
Absolutely.
Just the fact that I opened a business, I should celebrate,
And you keep going every day.
Yes. Even when everything looks like it's going to fall apart and I don't have all of the clear signs, like go this way, it's going to all work out. It is very vulnerable to open something and to put yourself out there, especially in front of a group of women, especially on social media, to be visible, to use your voice. All of that is making like 5 to 10 to 20 different mini bravery choices, right?
Absolutely.
You're choosing not to give in to fear. You're choosing to bet on yourself and choosing that your value and your mission is greater than all of the things that can hold you back. I mean, that makes me tear up because it's not one bravery choice. It's actually so many. And it's like the moment, I don't even know, there was a moment before that when you must have decided, yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. And then finally you started trusting yourself. And I think it's the self-trust that has built an automatic bravery system in you because you make quick decisions because you trust yourself. How do you think you became to trust yourself so well?
I think some of it's just repetition of the decisions, but some of that is like kind of doing the same thing over and over again. But when it's big steps or big, bold decisions, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, even from childhood, I mean, my parents instilled so many amazing values in me. And so the hard work I saw in my mom and my dad and the care for doing things in a good way. Like I kind of joked a few times, like I like nice things. So like there's a few things I feel like I splurged a little bit with conference or because I want it to be a nice experience. Yeah. And so, the doing things in the right way.
Right.
And the hard work to make it happen. But
yes.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Also, I mean, my husband is an incredible supporter of mine. And so I think, combined, he makes me feel confident that I can achieve. And then I guess even if there was a failure or not as successful as I would want, that it's okay.
Yes.
And I'm okay. I am still worthy. I am still awesome and loved.
Yes. I think my husband believed in me before I believed in myself, and for every up and down that I've had in my business, he's always, always believing in me. And I do think that is an undeniable part of why I've been successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think for you were taught from a young age that the small things are the big things. It's in the great things, it's in our habits, and it's in how we learn that we can trust our own abilities. When we do the small things and we keep our own promises to ourselves, then we start to have an undeniable knowing that we are going to be able to do what we say we're going to do. And I think that a lot of people forget it's the small things of saying, I'm going to wake up at 6. It's the small things of saying, I'm going to post on social media. Even if I don't know what to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go into work. I'm going to reach out to this person. When you continue over and over to do the things that you told yourself you're going to do, then every other fear and everyone's perspective can't get to you because you know yourself so well.
Yeah. You're tricking your brain in a way of that you're right. I get the words right, but especially when you do the things you say you're going to do, then you're right. You did it.
Yeah.
And so you can continue on with that.
What advice would you have for someone that also would like to start a community or do something big that they've never done before, but they really have a desire in them to do it?
I would say go for it, but you need to have a plan.
Yes.
Hindsight, I didn't, and it's okay, but I didn't really have a plan for what this would look like because I didn't start it to have it as a business.
Right.
And I quickly realized all the things I need to learn.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, and I'm still learning. And it's been a journey on figuring out how to do things. And even just as recently as last month, learned some different new ways of, some systems and some processes to make things even better, for our company. And so just always being open to learning. But for someone thinking about, doing something big or a big, brave, bold, change in direction, I would say that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
The big, bold asks, the big, bold moves. Part of what I feel about this conference in particular is that it really was made of big, bold decisions and asks.
Right.
Specifically speakers.
Yeah.
I sent some big, bold Instagram messages to people I wanted to have a part of the day, and it worked out.
Yes.
Sometimes those work out, the big, bold asks. And, we moved our venue to a big, bold new venue. I think those big, bold decisions you can make can be so pivotal in that big leap forward, your success or your journey or your direction as a whole.
I agree. Yeah. And I do want to point out, having a business plan is so important because now I hear so many women saying they're just going to do their business plan using ChatGPT. And it makes me want to die inside almost because there's so much learning that happens when you have to work through what your business plan is going to look like, because you get to do some learning before you actually open your business.
Right.
And you sometimes learn, what I wanted to do isn't going to work. I need to do it this way. And you get almost like training wheels for opening a business.
I do agree with that. Yeah. However, there's never going to be a perfect time to start something. And so some people can get stuck in planning mode and never get out.
True.
I want to start this business, but next thing you know, it's 10 years later and you've been working on your plan and trying to figure out what to do, exactly how to make it perfect. Yeah. When in hindsight, had they started and then figured some things out along the way.
Oh, absolutely.
I think there's value in that.
I think it's great to set a timeline, a deadline for yourself, be like, I'm going to do this by this time. And so then you have a deadline, you have to meet it. And for me, when I have a deadline, I tend to do better. So,
don't we all?
Yeah. And then you're actively working, you're not waiting for the time passing by. You're actively putting in your effort towards your goal, Yeah,
absolutely.
And I also did that when I'm just now starting this podcast. And I was like, oh, nope. Every time I start to feel the fear, I'm like, nope, I have to be brave. And I reached out to all kinds of people. Yeah. And I got responses from almost everyone and got yeses from almost everyone.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
And even if I didn't, just the fact of doing it, putting yourself out there is brave, right?
Absolutely.
So what would you say, I like to ask this question at the end of every episode, if someone is going through a difficult time right now and they have the choice to either, there's a crossroads, to give up or to be brave and push through, what advice would you give them?
Always brave and push through.
Yeah.
I would say you were made for this. You are capable. You are able to figure it out. You have everything you need inside of you to, conquer this problem or find the right person to reach out to or to guide your words so that you say the right things and you find the solution that you're looking for. You have that inside of you. I really believe that.
I agree.
So push through, be brave.
Yes.
We've got this, girl.
Yes. Yes. You have everything you need inside of you. It is there. It always is there. That's amazing. I've never been to your event, so I'm so excited to go tomorrow. And I've looked at some of the people that are going to be there, and I can't wait to meet everyone. I can't wait to see you shining and doing what you do. And I feel honored to get to launch this at your event. I feel like great, when you're meant to meet someone, you meet them. And I'm thankful to support you. And I'm so thankful that we got to talk a little bit today.
Thank you. This was so fun.
I
love all your insight. I just love the whole podcast.
Oh, thank you. And I love everything you're doing. So feelings mutual.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.